mind you, I've never tried to make one of these, so this is going to be my first attempt. So I'm learning with you. Now, I did all the measurements, and I drew this up a couple days ago, I guess. And if you don't understand something about it, don't worry about it, because I'll be showing you everything as I go. I got 4 scales that are going to be on top of each other, and they're going to be pinned together with shims in between it, so that the blade can fit between it. This is 3/16 inch thick mild steel, that's a 1/2 inch wide. Now, if you looked at the drawing I made, it's going to taper to 5/16 at the tip. Don't ask why it's 5/16, I don't know. Right now I got to drill the holes for the pins, because I'm going to pin them together when I sand them, so that both of them end up being the same. Don't forget to clamp it down, because it's going to spin. So I'm going to do the other 3 now, but I'm going to do those off camera, because if you saw me do one, you know how to do the rest. Okay, now all 4 handle scales have been drilled, and I'm going to put it on the sander a little bit to get rid of all the burrs so they fit together snugly.
Black carpet, I'm in trouble. Black carpet, I see trouble.
I use these 6D 2-inch finishing nails to pin them together. And the holes lined up pretty good. Now, before I start sanding the sides, I gotta do the ends.
I'm in trouble. I'm so dizzy. Please get dizzy. Man, I'm not gonna get home. Black carpet. I'm in trouble. I'm so dizzy. Please get dizzy. Oh, now I'm not gonna get home.
So it's a new day. What I decided is that I should go with a full taper on these, because if I had just tapered them down to here, it would have been spread apart too far, and then the blade would have had been too wide. So I started doing a full taper on these, still have to finish them. So now they fit together a little bit better, and it's closer to what I had marked out for the blade width. So right now what I'm going to do is round the edges off on the sides that are going to be facing outward. Alright, now the 1/8 inch 1095 steel will be here in a few days, and then I'll start working on the blade. For right now, these are actually looking pretty good. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to drill holes in the center of them or not. I think I might just leave them like this. I like how they look. Alright, it's been a few days since I last worked on this, but the steel's finally here. I got this piece from Jant's Knife Supply. It costs probably around $10 bucks, something like that. So I'm going to draw the outline of my knife, and then I'll get back. marked out the edge with a black Sharpie, and this is an 1/8 inch drill bit because this is 1/8 inch stock. So I'm gonna run it along the side on a flat surface to get a mark exactly in the middle of it so that when I bevel it, I don't go too far to one side or the other. You can see a line going down the center. Now these barbs, or the knife's hilt, whatever you want to call them, are going to get in the way a little bit when I bevel this thing. I'm going to freehand the bevel. I was going to anyhow, but there's really no way to do this with a jig because when you lay this thing flat, they hit first. So you're going to have to support the back of it with your finger. It's just going to make it a little bit tougher, but if you're steady enough, it should work out fine. Drill the holes that connect the handles to the blade. Now I can't remember the exact size of the drill bit that I'm using, but when I find it, I'll put it on the screen on the bottom right. Drill out the guide pin that'll be between the handles and the blade when it's open to stabilize it. Alright, now when the handles are on the knife, they're going to meet in the middle like this. But to keep the knife from sliding off to either side, I need to put shims in here, angled ones. So that it stays in here when it's closed. Now the blade's pretty close to these pinholes, but I can work around that. I'm just going to put a piece of 1/8 inch steel in here that starts about here and then angles off into here. Alright, now here's the piece all cut out. I sanded the corners a little bit so that it wouldn't be as rough. And then how this works is it's going to fit into the blade like this. Now I know what you're thinking, it slides free. Well, I thought of that, and I don't want to put another pin in there. Every time I drill a hole I risk ruining it. So what I'm going to do is leave just one pin in and then use 2 ton epoxy inside there when I put it together. Okay, right now I'm going to put the guide pin on the blade. That'd be that one right there. I'm going to use a small piece of nail and do my best to peen it over. It's not going to stick out that much, but it's the best I can do for right now. Now I'm going to pin the handle. I have a small length of nail in there and it's going through to the other side. I left about 1/8 on both sides. I'm going to pin it, but not quite all the way. I'm going to leave it a little bit flexible, and then I'm going to fill this with epoxy and then sand it off, and then I'm just going to leave this end open, and I'll put the blade on later when it's hardened. Okay, now it's finally time to put the handles on the blade. It's been tempered, hardened, and I ran it through the sander a few times to get some of the scale off of it. Now, when I pin the handle to the blade, it can't be too tight because it has to rotate freely. So here's a razor, and it's going to sit behind the pin and keep it off the blade a little bit. That way when I pull the razor out, there will be a gap in between there so it can move freely.